What is inside the hot end? Now this is the hot end off the Flux Delta. Most hot ends are reasonably similar. So, like we did the Flux, we're going to take the thing apart. I'm under no illusion that it's anything like the Ender's hot end, but to a certain extent, a hot end's a hot end, all the same principles. What is a hot end? Plastic goes in there, gets it hot, squeezes it out there, in simple terms. There's a bit else goes on. There's some fans in here to cool it down, some fans in here to cool the plastic coming out through these nozzles, but beyond that it melts the plastic and shoves it out. Although technically on this hot end it's not a direct drive hot end, it has a Bowden tube, so this doesn't do the shoving. The shoving was done by a motor at the top on the Delta, down the Bowden tube, got out. On direct drive ones, the stepper, driver, shover, extruder is right on top of the hot end, doing away with the Bowden drive but making the hot end heavier, so you print slower. Drawbacks, positives, each to their own. Some filaments, flexible filaments for a direct drive, but for standard PLA, keeping the hot end light, a Bowden drive is fine. I mean, I get good results off my basically stock 5 Pro, so I've got no need to change. But right, before we get any further, remember the Flux Delta was a Delta printer by the name, so the ball rods connect into these horribly greasy magnets on the side. So which end do we take off first? Well, I'm going to start at the hot end of the hot end, which on this is held in by a Torx bit. It would help if I had it in undo, wouldn't it? There we go. Not much to this. Not much to this at all. Oh, and I hold no for advice on how to take your hot end apart. I have no purpose to reuse this again, so I will not be doing anything overly carefully. And you'll be seeing me pry stuff apart in a horrible way, such as that. So this is another upgraded part from the Delta Plus kit that got sent. This is metal. The original one was plastic, like everything else, and it had a tendency to melt. Not surprising when this gets to in the area of 200 degrees. So the upgrade had a nice metal plate that likes being attracted to the magnets, hence the need to pry it off. There we can see the hot end, the horribly discoloured, dirty nozzle with the remnants of plastic oozing out from around it, underneath it, everywhere, stuck to it, burnt all over the top of it. Because as these were stock and when these came new, every single one of them had an issue where the plastic oozed out from underneath the nozzle, and you can see the remnants where it's all caked onto the hot end. Not a lot else I can take out from this end, so I am going to flip it over. The only other thing I'm going to do from this end first is take out the nozzle. And there is a horrible way of doing this, but it works for me and has done for years. Oh, we are nastily stuck today. Let's try a slightly deeper one. No, you do not want to come out. Stay in. Right, on the other end then. So we've got a little Phillips here, so let's grab the little Phillips. Phillips crosshead, pick your universal name, call them Phillips. And aware that not all Phillips are Phillips, before someone bites me for the strange Japanese version that these might even be. But in popular terminology, if it's a cross, it's a Phillips. Even if it's a posi, it's a Phillips. Let's give him ping that off. Plastic, like the original bottom end one. What can we see in here? Well, we've got the USB-C connector that's not really USB-C. The voltages and pins are completely different, it's just a connector. We've got some, what I'm going to assume are going to be like fan controls. That's got to be the, and somewhere in here's got to be a thermistor. So I'm going to assume would be this one because it's next to the power, well, the chunky cable. So I'm going to assume those are the power down to the heating element. Yeah, so there's no screws I can see visible, but there is a giant nut on the outside where the Bowden connected into. And interestingly, there's a disconnected socket there, which is next to a load of test points and has 6 connections. It says JP6. I don't know what that's for. There's nothing plugged into it, and I haven't had this apart, so I don't know what that's going to be. Again, if anybody knows what bits do, what these chips are for, put it in the comments. Probably no way to reuse them, but it'd be interesting to know nonetheless. STM32F it says on that square chip. If that means anything to anyone. Let's see if we can get this in shot rather than being out of shot. That one there I was on about. Right, let's see if we can get this nut off. I apologise if this is all out of shot, by the way. First time you've been on the ceiling. Right, how do you get the nut off? So, there's only one way to get a nut off when you don't really care about it, isn't there? An adjustable. You don't really care what the size is and you have no intention of reusing it, you just want to get it off. And off she comes. Off she comes. Right, now what? So I'm going to assume next I need to ping these plugs out. Let's get a little flathead. Pry those. Oh, he's kind of loose. Ah, there we go. Look at that. Didn't expect that to be that easy, those plugs on here. So let's ping those out carefully. Again, I don't care if I break this. If I was actually trying to reuse it, I wouldn't be using a screw. I wouldn't just be tugging it. I'd be getting them out properly, and maybe trying to do it in some sort of order. But I'm not. I just want to see what's in here and take you along for the ride. Right. So the board is out. It's only single-sided, although there are tracks on the back, and I'm going to assume a serial number. But again, there's a chip, which I'm guessing is the control chip for it. But if that means anything to anyone, good luck to you. Back into the hardware. It's all fairly firmly attached. I don't see any way of... Oh wait, yes I do. Right, can you see right down the side there, 3 screws. I don't know if you can see in the light, but basically right down here. So, well, it's out, but it's stuck to the magnet. I don't know if you can see it down there. The other ones are going to be fun past the cables, but I'm guessing they're going to do the same. Come out and stick straight to the magnet. Oh, hello, washer. I'm guessing that was over the top. Yes, it was. That was unexpected. But thinking about something here, and these screws being stuck on the magnets, I see no reason. Yes. Wow, you can tell it's been a while since I swapped this bottom end over. I couldn't remember how it comes apart. And there's the screw. Let's put that down for a sec. So these are those quite strong magnets. Now, they are quite strong. for what they were to hold the ball connections on. So you never know, they might come in useful. We'll put them to the side. They're incredibly filthy. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, taking the screws out. So let's carry on with this one then. You can see the thing. We're in. I think we got it. And then the last one down that side there. Again, for the 7 people that are going to watch this, tell me if you like being up on the ceiling, or if I need to get better. I know the lighting's not great because the light's behind me. Oh, we have movement. Oh, okay. Interesting, that was just a carriage for the fans. Bless me. And the hot end is still in there. Oh, okay, it's not very in there. That is quite loose. So I guess this cold end should unscrew. I mean, it doesn't want to. It may just be stuck, as the hot end, as the nozzle was. Let's come back to that. I'll think about that as we talk. Anyway, the fans are absolutely filthy. Yep, so one's the centrifugal ones. So the centrifugal ones I'm going to assume are the parts cooling fans. Oh, screws. Big the screws that shoot down through the bottom and out of the nozzles. Something like that. And then that's the hot end cooling fan. 5 volts, 6.6 of a watt, would you believe? Wow, high power. I'll leave that alone because that's quite a neat little assembly. I don't know what use it is, but the fans could have some use, I'm sure. But we must get this out. I want to see more of this. So, can we brute forcing implement it? Oh, we can. I don't know if I broke something, but it kind of undid and then stopped. So, here we go again. Who said brute force and ignorance never got you anywhere? I'm aware this is terrible. You don't have to tell me in the comments if anyone bothers. But like I say, I'm not going to reuse it. I just want to see what's in here. I can confirm we are actually unscrewing. I'm not just turning something around and round and round. Stuff is actually coming out. He's actually unscrewing from the heater block. Oh, it's feeling loose. Come on. It's a long thread. You can see the thread through the fan hole. Yeah, Bob. Hey! Ooh. Oh, okay, that's not what I was expecting. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But okay, so maybe that's why the nozzle didn't come out. Anyway, here we have the cold end. Now that's just unthreaded out of the end, off of the heater block. You can see the shape of the heater block, and the PCFE tube up the middle, which doesn't look all that intact. I'm assuming that wasn't supposed to unscrew from there like that. But a damaged PCFE tube would explain the constant blockages. Because without the PTFE tube, the heated plastic can swell, and when you cool it down, it stops and plugs and blocks completely. So, and that was a constant thing on the Delta, and one of the reasons to upgrade to the 5 Pro. That would explain that. Now, it is clear, can blow through it. Well, it's just a heatsink. Stops the heat creep back up. Now, I wasn't expecting that to unscrew. I was expecting there to be a thread on that that screws into the heater block. But thinking about it, then the nozzle would come all the way through, and I don't think that would fit. So we're going to have to take a look at the heater block some more. I'm sure it's got a better name than heater block, but there you go. Now the question is, can we get it out? Because it's got some quite thick, chunky cable. Yes, we can. Look at that. Now I have an empty plastic case. I don't know if you can see that. All that melt damage there. This whole plastic housing is pretty melted up around this heater block. Look at the actual state of that. Wow, that is pretty destroyed. I mean, it still worked. There's not a lot to not work. It's a tube through it, a heater element that conducts the heat to it, and a thermistor to work out how hot it got. I mean, it is very, very stuck together. And the plastic that's stuck to the outside of it is making it hard to get the socket on it. But we have got it on. So let's see, shall we? No, you are very jammed, very, very jammed. No, we're going to leave that for another day. So, to answer the original question, what's inside the hot end? Well, a collection of parts really, but that's the core of it. Yes, you've got some control boards and bits and pieces and some fans, but that is the beast of it. Your Bowden tube connected onto there, down through the cold sink, which is kept cool by the fan, into the heater block, which is made hot by the heating element, then gets squeezed out through the nozzle of whatever size. This is a 0.4 nozzle, although you can't tell, it's completely blocked and solid and locked up, and out it goes, being shoved from your Bowden drive. So what's in the hot end? Not a lot. Not a lot. But I have made a mess.